Hey there, friends. Have you ever looked at your Etsy dashboard and thought, wow, I made so much money today, only to find out that your bank account says something different? If that's the case, you're not alone. Today, we're breaking down the difference between revenue and profit. We're going to understand why it's important to know the difference between the two and how you can use your understanding to grow as an Etsy seller. I'm Kristen. I'm an Etsy seller. I'm beginning my journey still. I'm about 6 months in, and my goal is to make Etsy as a digital seller and a print-on-demand seller my main job. So I currently work in healthcare, and that has been a little bit draining. I enjoy the job that I'm at, but I would love to have something that provides a little bit more flexibility for me. So Etsy is a great option for me. I've really enjoyed the creativity I have been able to put into my job, but I have had a hard time understanding what money I'm actually coming through with. So when I look at my Etsy dashboard, it says one number and my bank account says something different. So we're going to take a little deeper look into that today. And if you want more information about my journey as a whole, make sure to check out my first video, A Beginner's Journey as an Etsy Seller, linked below. All right, let's go ahead and take a peek. So I am on my Etsy dashboard right here. So today I haven't really had much. It's the middle of the week. I've had a few views. Let me refresh, see if anything else pops up there. Things are not updated, but that's okay. Let's go to our stats. So in the shop manager, we hit dashboard, and then we go to the stats item here. I have it set right now to this year. I started my shop this year, so this is where I'm at. So if I look here, it shows that my revenue is $1,127.50. I know I put in about $500 or $600 into my startup costs. So thinking that my revenue is $1,100 and I have put in $500 or $600, I should be in the black by about $500 or $600 more dollars. However, that is not the case. So I have a separate bank account for all of my Etsy stuff. I wanted to keep that separate from my personal things so there's no confusion as to where I stand. I highly recommend opening your own separate bank account for your business. I just used Capital One, and it's an online thing. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to talk to anybody. It was super easy, but that way you can track everything. So I had that going, and I knew that I had spent $500. Let's just call it $500. It's actually a little bit more. It might even be past $600. But I have been watching my numbers tick up in my bank account to replace that money that I have spent. And I'm up to about $375 now. But that is because my revenue here does not actually equal my profit. So where are these numbers coming from? Revenue is the number that comes in, the total amount of money that your shop brings in before any expenses are taken out. Profit is what's left after you subtract all the costs of running your shop. And Etsy sellers have more expenses than you realize. So that could include Etsy fees like transaction fees, payment processing, listing fees, materials and supplies. I'm a digital seller and print on demand, so I don't really have much in the way of materials and supplies. Shipping, I cover the cost of shipping for all of my print on demand products, so that is included in there. Any marketing or ads, and then you also have to account for taxes. Here in the United States, I believe the number is, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the number is $5,000. So if you have earned $5,000 in your shop, then you have to make sure that you are filing taxes on that and paying your taxes for income. If you are underneath the $5,000 of profit, as far as I understand, so again, do not quote me on this, but as far as I understand, you don't have to pay taxes, income taxes on that. But you do have to have all of this tracked, because if you have one item that just takes off quickly, you want to make sure that you are prepared and you know what you have spent and what you have earned so that you can file taxes appropriately. You don't want your shop getting shut down just because you didn't track things. So if we look down in the finance section of your Etsy dashboard, you can go to the payment account. So this will show you how much money you have available for deposit. And then if you scroll down, it will show you your activity summary. So what you have earned, your net profit, and what fees you've had. So I'm going to go ahead and look at September. So this month, it says that my net profit for the month is $252.64. I have had $338 of sales. So this number here is my revenue. This number here is my profit, because I have had $27 in marketing, so that's my ad spend, and then $58 in Etsy fees. However, Etsy does not account for my Printify spend. So what I would have to do is take even this profit here and subtract out how much I have spent on Printify in order to have my products made and sent to my customers. So let's go ahead and look at the whole year. So this year, my sales, my total sales, so this would be my revenue, $1,181. My profit via Etsy says $941. That includes taking out the cost of my fees and any marketing. However, it does not include what I've spent on Printify. So on Printify, I have spent $570.78. So we need to subtract this number from this payment account number here. Okay, so if we do that, then we take 940 minus 570, we're looking at $420. Now, that accounts for my Printify and my Etsy fees and my Etsy revenue. It does not account for anything else I have spent. I talked about this in my last video, which went a little bit deeper into the finances as a whole, but I have created a finance spreadsheet. I highly recommend using something like this to track your expenses. So you can see here that if I look at everything I've spent on my journey and account for all of the money I have earned, I am still $245.99 short from my break-even point. Now, sales have been picking up. I am encouraged that I am going to reach that goal and start becoming what's called in the black, where you are making more money than you are spending. I think that's going to happen for me in the next couple of months. I have been putting in the work and doing the best that I can to get there, and I believe that it's on its way. But these numbers all look different. So it is incredibly important to understand that revenue does not equal profit, okay? Knowing your profit will help you price your items better, decide when to raise prices or reduce costs, and it'll help you plan for taxes as well. It's also a great indicator to tell if your shop is truly growing or if it's just staying the same. All right, so a few quick tips to keep your profit healthy. 1, track everything. 2, know your break-even price. Know what you have to reach in order to become truly profitable. 3, review your numbers monthly. Don't wait until tax season to find out that you didn't make as much as you thought you did. And 4, remember to account for your time. I would suggest giving yourself an hourly wage so you know how much time you are spending that you could be doing something earning different money. Okay? That is a great overview. I know it's fast and furious. If you have questions, please let me know. But next time you look at your Etsy sales numbers, remember, revenue is what comes in, profit is what you keep. Okay? If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more Etsy tips, and tell me in the comments, what's one expense that you were surprised when you first started selling? All right, I will link my Etsy finance tracker in the description, and it is simple and easy to use. Go ahead and get yourself a copy and start tracking your expenses, and make sure to like, subscribe, and follow me, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.